In 2025, China and Russia woke up to a nightmare. The United States had built a fighter jet they didn't even know existed, the F-47. For 5 years, this jet had flown in total secrecy. It broke speed records, it broke stealth records, and yet the world kept staring at old programs, planes everyone already knew. No one asked what was happening in the shadows, but the truth was shocking. The F-47 was already here, and it was designed to dominate the skies for decades ahead. Now imagine this. You wake up one morning, and you find out your enemy already built a superweapon, one that could control the skies before your planes even take off. And no one told you. The question becomes simple. If one hidden jet can rewrite air power overnight, what chance does any rival have to fight back? Because the world has just changed. And in the next few minutes, you'll see why the F-47 isn't just a jet. It's a war plan, hidden in plain sight. This is the inside story of the F-47 fighter jet exposed, America's secret 6th-generation superweapon that may have already changed the future of war. The story of the F-47 didn't begin in 2025. It began a full decade earlier. In 2014, the U.S. Department of Defense made a quiet but historic move. They launched the Aerospace Innovation Initiative. The mission was clear: create a new generation of aircraft, not just one fighter, an entire family of systems built to dominate the future battlefield. At first, almost no one outside the Pentagon paid attention. But inside those walls, the urgency was real. Because America already knew what was coming. China was rolling out stealth designs. Russia was showing off new prototypes. The gap in the skies was closing. For decades, the United States had enjoyed total air dominance. But now that power was under threat, and America was not about to lose it. So in 2014, the first seed was planted. That seed grew into what became the Next Generation Air Dominance Program, NGAD. Most experts thought NGAD was only about prototypes. But hidden inside was a secret project that aimed higher, faster, deadlier. The project that would eventually become the F-47. Almost nobody saw it at the time. Yet the decision made in 2014 quietly set the stage for a jet that would one day shock the world. The seed had been planted. The future was already in motion. The world just didn't know it yet. So when did the first undeniable proof finally appear? By 2019, the whispers had already begun. Defense insiders spoke of something unusual, a project that was moving far faster than anyone thought possible. Then in September 2020, the world finally heard the truth. The U.S. Air Force revealed that a full-scale demonstrator had already flown. A real aircraft. Not a model, not a sketch. A jet that was already in the sky. This was a bombshell, because every analyst had predicted the first flight was still years away. Yet America had quietly leapt ahead. The project was no longer a concept. It was alive. Some called it a ghost in the skies. It was there, but seen by almost no one. No images, no details, only one fact. A 6th-generation fighter existed, and it was flying. The secrecy left the world stunned. What exactly had the Air Force built, and how far had they already gone? For rivals like China and Russia, this was a nightmare scenario. Because if America could keep an entire jet hidden until it had flown, what else was already waiting in the shadows? But even in Washington, the questions were just as sharp. Was this just a prototype meant to prove a point? Or was this the first step toward building a fleet that could dominate the skies for decades? The world now knew something was real, but it didn't yet know who would actually bring it to life. So who would build America's 6th-generation jet? In 2023, the fight for America's most secret jet turned brutal. The 6th-generation program was no longer a dream. It was a war for survival, not between nations, but between the giants of the defense industry. Then came the first shock. Northrop Grumman, the company behind the legendary B-2 Spirit, suddenly stepped aside. They bowed out of the race. Just like that, one of America's most trusted builders was gone. Only 2 titans were left standing: Boeing, Lockheed Martin. The duel was set. Billions of dollars were on the line. But this wasn't only about money. The winner would decide what the skies look like for the next 50 years. Every weapon system, every stealth trick, every drone and sensor linked into the jet's brain. All of it depended on who came out on top. Inside both companies, the pressure was crushing. Designs were drawn and redrawn. Teams worked in locked rooms. Every leak could destroy a chance at victory. And the Pentagon watched in silence, knowing one choice could secure air dominance, or lose it forever. It was more than a competition. It was a heavyweight fight to control the future of war. For Boeing, winning meant redemption. For Lockheed, it meant keeping its throne. And for America, it meant everything. But just as the battle reached its peak, the program hit turbulence. A shock so serious it nearly killed the jet before it was born. By May 2024, the dream of America's sixth-generation jet hit a wall. The problem wasn't technology, it was money. Suddenly, the cost of the program began to skyrocket. Reports said a single aircraft could cost hundreds of millions of dollars each, far more than any fighter jet in history. For the U.S. Air Force, the numbers were terrifying. A fleet meant to protect the skies was starting to look unaffordable. Behind closed doors, insiders whispered the unthinkable. Could the entire NGAD program collapse before it even began? For a moment, it seemed possible. Even the Pentagon hesitated. In May 2024, the Air Force announced it would pause source selection. That meant no company would be chosen, no final design locked in, no winner declared, at least not yet. The pause sent shockwaves through Washington and the defense industry. Billions of dollars and decades of planning suddenly hung in the balance. Was America really about to walk away from the jet it had kept secret for years? The F-35 program had once been called too expensive, but this time the stakes were even higher. Because the F-47 project wasn't just another fighter. It was the key to keeping air dominance against China and Russia for decades. And if the price killed it, America risked losing the skies altogether. For engineers and pilots alike, the fear was real. This was the most advanced jet ever conceived. But was it simply too expensive to survive? The program was in crisis, billions at stake, time running out. So who finally stepped forward and claimed victory? On March 21st, 2025, the secret finally came into the light. From the White House, President Donald Trump stepped forward with an announcement that stunned the world. After years of whispers, after endless rumors, the winner was chosen. The contract went to Boeing, not Lockheed, not Northrop, Boeing. The deal was worth nearly $20 billion. And with it, the most secretive race in modern history finally had a name, a builder, and a future. For the defense industry, the news landed like a thunderclap. Billions of dollars now flowed into a single company, and the global balance of power shifted overnight. The media wasted no time. They called the jet the F-47, a symbolic nod to America's 47th president. It was a label filled with meaning, a weapon tied to a moment in history, and a signal to rivals that America's skies would not be surrendered. The secrecy was over. The Shadow Project had become real. What began as a hidden demonstrator, what almost died in a price crisis, was now the future of U.S. air power. The Pentagon had made its choice. The world finally knew the name, the builder, the path forward. And yet, for all the excitement, one question burned hotter than all the rest. Because what the announcement gave in clarity, it also gave in suspense. Now that the F-47 was real, what exactly could it do? The F-47 is not just another fighter jet. It is the quarterback of America's new air dominance family. For decades, a pilot climbed into the cockpit and fought alone. That era is over. The F-47 doesn't fight by itself. It commands an army of machines. With its advanced brain, one pilot can direct swarms of 1,000 drones or more. Each drone can scout, jam, fire missiles, or even crash into enemy defenses. Together, they move like one giant force. One human at the center, thousands of unmanned wings carrying out the mission. This is power no other jet in history has ever had. And it changes everything. Because now, America's rivals face not just a single jet, but an entire fleet of machines in the sky. Imagine China's stealth fighters taking off, only to be met by swarms that blind their radars. Picture Russia's defenses firing missiles, only to be overwhelmed by hundreds of decoys. Every enemy system can be targeted at once. Every weak spot exposed instantly. The F-47 is no longer just a fighter. It is the leader of an air empire. For the pilot, the cockpit becomes a throne. a place where one person commands more firepower than whole squadrons once carried. And for rivals, it's a nightmare. How do you fight not one jet, but thousands of invisible weapons all working together? The game has changed forever. The world knows what the F-47 is, but the real question is, how far can this jet truly go? The F-47 isn't just powerful, it's built to go farther than any jet before it. Its combat radius stretches over 1,000 nautical miles. That's more than double the reach of the F-22 Raptor. For America's rivals, this changes the map of war, because the F-47 can strike deep inside enemy territory, far past the lines where defenses once felt safe. It was designed for the toughest challenge of all, fighting inside A2/AD zones. These are areas locked down by China's missiles and Russia's air defenses, zones built to keep American jets out. But the F-47 was built to fly straight through them. It can reach targets thought untouchable. It can destroy systems that were supposed to be impenetrable, and it can do it while staying alive. For the pilot, this means something no generation has known before: the ability to strike enemies who believed they were safe. No base is too far, no radar is too strong. The walls built to block America's air power are now full of cracks, and the F-47 is the hammer ready to break them wide open. But range is only part of the design. The jet was also built to adapt. Past fighters like the F-15 and F-22 stayed in service for 40 years or more, but the world changes too fast for that now. The F-47 will evolve every 8 to 16 years, always updated, always one step ahead of enemy technology. This isn't just a jet, it's a living program, shifting with each new threat. But even with all this revealed, there is still one mystery the world hasn't solved. What is the real secret still hidden inside the F-47? The F-47 may have a name, it may even have a builder, but the truth is, most of it is still classified. The public has only seen shadows. The real jet remains in the dark. Its outer shape, still hidden. Its propulsion system, locked away. Its electronic warfare suite, a secret. Even the exact mix of collaborative combat aircraft, CCAs, the drones it commands, is sealed behind walls of silence. For every fact released, 100 details stay buried. Even now, the Air Force keeps the full tech stack of the F-47 hidden. The world knows it exists, but no one outside the program knows what it truly is. And that's the most terrifying part. Because rivals like China and Russia can plan for the jets they see. They can design counters for aircraft they understand. But the F-47 is different. It is both real and a mystery. It flies, yet its full design is invisible. It exists, yet its power cannot be measured. For America's enemies, this creates a nightmare gap. They know a new superweapon is out there, but they don't know how to stop it. Every war game becomes guesswork. Every defense system could already be obsolete. And every pilot in the world must ask the same question: what is the F-47 really capable of? The secrecy is not weakness. It is the ultimate weapon. Because in war, fear of the unknown can be as powerful as the strike itself. The shadow is visible, but the machine inside it is not. And this takes us to the shocking truth. The F-47 shocked the world not simply because it exists. It shocked the world because its most important parts remain hidden. The announcement in 2025 gave us a name. It gave us a builder. It gave us a glimpse of a program that had lived in the shadows for years. But the truth is, what America revealed was only the surface. The real fighter remains locked away. The shape, the propulsion, the deepest secrets of its design. None of these have been shown. The F-47 story is not about what we saw. It is about what we still cannot see. Because in modern war, secrecy is power. Every detail kept hidden becomes a weapon in itself. And for America's rivals, the most frightening reality is this: they are fighting an enemy they still don't fully understand. The world now fears not the jet in plain sight, but the jet still in the dark. This is why the F-47 fighter jet exposed story matters. Because if this is only the beginning, what will the real F-47 look like when it finally flies free? From rumors to reality, the F-47 has already changed the balance of power. For years, it lived in silence. Now, it has a name, a builder, and a future that could decide who rules the skies. We traced its roots in 2014, the secret flight in 2020, the industry fight of 2023, the price crisis that almost killed it, the big reveal in 2025, and the secret still locked away today. The world knows the F-47 exists, but what it can truly do remains hidden. And that mystery is the real weapon. This story is only the beginning. More secrets wait in the shadows. So make sure to subscribe for more deep stories about the weapons reshaping our future. Now the question is yours. Is the F-47 unstoppable, or will rivals find a way to beat it?